Hello, everybody. I'm Sergia. We are going to be talking to Clara. We are going to be talking about pole in relationship to circus school. So super excited to have a conversation with Clara this morning. My name is Sergia Louise Anderson. If you are coming on here and you're like, gosh, I'm interested in pole, I'm not a pole dancer, but I'd like to learn, then head on over to my page. I've got a free training for you guys. So you can check that out in the link in my personal Instagram bio. So we're going to get ready to bring Clara on here right now. We're going to talk pole and circus school and her journey with pole through the eyes of a circus performer. Hi, Clara. How are you?
Hi. Hi, I'm really good. Happy to be here. I'm wondering, first of all, if
Yeah,
the sound is okay in here, because I'm sitting in this supposedly sound isolated little box, but there's also little ventilation systems. I'm wondering if it's fine here.
you're sounding really good to me. Is it, give us a thumbs up, you guys, if you're watching, that you can hear us both. So where are you located right now?
So right at this moment, I'm sitting in Codarts. So this is a circus school based in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Yeah, so we have the gym and we have the training space down over there. It's usually quite long days here, so you just stay. Now it's like 6:15 in the evening and full house. Yeah.
That is amazing. I mean, like, it sounds like so much work, but it also sounds like a dream come true to just be like totally nerdy into circus all day long. Like, is that what you get to do?
That is absolutely what we get to do. It's
That's the
really
best.
non-stop. Yeah. 9 till 5:30 or 9 till 8. It's physical stuff all the time. So it's really a big playground, but professional playground.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like you never have to grow up. You can just jungle gym through the rest of your life. I love that.
Yeah. Hopefully, that will be the outcome of this.
So how long have you been there at the circus school?
Sorry, what did you say?
How long have you been there at the circus school?
So I started in late August. So it's a school year is from late August till like June or beginning of July. So I just started. We're finishing off the semester quite soon. So yeah.
Very good. So I don't really know a ton about circus school. So how does it work? I mean, do you apply? How long do you go for? Do you apply with a skill or do you acquire skills when you get there? Like, how does it even work?
Yeah, so mostly now I'm going to talk about European circus schools because
Okay.
this is what I know about. But there are also schools outside Europe, big ones in Canada, in Montreal, ENC, and in Russia, the Moscow school. But so in Europe, I mean, there's basically two main different kinds of circus schools. So one is the preparatory education, and one is the bachelor program. So preparatory education, it's in the name. It's supposed to prepare you to go to a bachelor. And some students also, after a preparatory education, choose to just start working. So it's not necessarily that you have to have a bachelor to become a circus artist. But the main focus of a preparatory education is to give you all the tools you need and all the basic knowledge in a bunch of different physical and theatrical subjects to then be ready to audition for a bachelor. And preparatory schools, they're usually 1 or 2 years, and you don't necessarily have to apply with one discipline or specialization, because it's also a lot of the focus is for you to try different things and find your passion or main discipline. And it's also varying way more in the preparatory school how the quality is of teachers, education, equipment, all of this, since bachelor schools are way more regulated. But usually you get a good base there. And then
do you have to complete a preparatory education to then uh, apply for a bachelor program?
not necessarily.
Okay.
You what you need for a bachelor school is a high level in one discipline. So you apply with one specialization. Um, I think there is maybe one or two schools that would accept that you apply with two specializations, but
Hmm.
they kind of want to guide you into focusing on one. So you might come from a tricking background or breakdance, or I could also say pole dance is still not like a classical circus background, and you could still find your way in. And yeah, so you don't need a preparatory, but you get all the basics of handstands, theater, acrobatics, and all these things that they're looking at in the auditions.
Wow. Oh my gosh, how fun to be able to, so like you have different classes and different forms in the theater, and then you have the dance stuff and the acrobatic stuff. So that is so cool. So where are you in your journey right now?
So I'm in my first year, and this bachelor education that I'm going to is 4 years, and usually there are three in most places, but here it's 4 years. So I'm in the very beginning of getting all the basics. We don't even have that much discipline classes. And when I say discipline, it's your main thing, right? So maybe you're a juggler or an aerialist or a pole dancer or whatever you are. That's the discipline. But right now we've been focusing the first couple of months of just getting the strength up and getting the acro up and all these basic skills that you get tested on and you need kind of to be
Got
multidisciplinary.
got it. So you are in a bachelor program. Now, did you come in with a couple like one or two disciplines that you were wanting to focus on?
I applied only with pole dance, and maybe over the course of this interview, I'm going to start referring to it as dance pole, which also is super confusing for pole dancers. But this is usually how circus people refer to pole dance pole. It's the same thing. But yeah, so and since I applied with a discipline that is not offered officially in any school, I made sure to spread my chances and applied to many different schools.
Okay.
So yeah, luckily we got in, and this is kind of nice because it's the first time that pole dance is officially a main discipline, an accepted like discipline in a circus bachelor. So I really hope that I'm the first of many.
Wow, that is super neat. I mean, this is like a whole world, the circus world and pole and the integration that I know nothing about. So it's just like so cool. I mean, I know that we ended up learning a lot of our skills from circus pole artists when we were, like getting ready for competition back in the day. But as far as like a true educational crossover, like I never knew that has come to exist. So you applied with pole. So what is your pole background? How did you find pole? You found pole outside of circus and now you're bringing it with you to circus?
Yes, this is correct. So I started 8 years ago, so I was 16 back then, and I'm from Stockholm in Sweden. So at that time, 8 years ago, and still to this day, it was just when pole dance started becoming like a popular fitness trend, kind of, or people started working out or having it as after job, after school type of workout instead of going to gym or yoga or whatnot. So me and my friends, we all started the same high school, and we were like, we need to also have something outside of school that we can do together. So someone suggested pole dance. And then in the end, I was the only one starting because someone said it was too expensive. Someone said it was too far. Oh, I won't start if she doesn't start. So I started alone. Um, and back then also when I was 16, there weren't that many. It's way more common now also that you start in your teens or even you start as a kid with pole dance. But 8 years ago, it was only adults doing it, right? But yeah, I got hooked quite fast. I have a gymnastics background since before. And it's always fun when some skills you have since before can be applied into something new, right? So it was really exciting to be able to advance in the beginning quite fast, right? So then I got hooked.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and circus, I didn't discover it until like 2 years ago. So with pole dance, I started training and then I started competing, and yeah, did both POSA and EPSF championships. Um, I don't know now if I have to explain what POSA and EPSF is or if our audience know that, but the different federations, yeah. So
Mhm.
nationals and worlds competitions, and then instructing, performing, and I got to perform at a circus this one summer a few years ago. So then they told me, the other artists there, that, this is something you could do. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. How do I do that? And they told me all of these things that I'm telling you now, and I just jumped on the train.
Wow, that's so neat. So now when you're doing pole at the circus school, because it's so new, I mean, are there pole professors there at the circus school? And the pole that you're using, is it like that, that classic circus pole wrapped, or is it a metal pole, or like what is the life of pole in a circus school at this point?
Yeah, so I'm using a normal dance pole. I'm using a Lupit pole. Shout out Lupit. Um, I prefer 45 millimeters and chrome finish. So this is what I have. Um, and so I was quite determined when I applied to the schools that I didn't want to do Chinese pole. This is the circus pole, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, this pole is like, it has a thicker diameter and it's rubber coated. So you stick with your clothes and with your shoes, but not with the skin. That gives you horrible burns. So just from that, yeah, it's quite a different technique, right?
Yeah, when we used to
Um,
train on Chinese poles, sometimes we would wear when we were learning new skills on Chinese pole, we would wear like wetsuit material because we would just come away with just the craziest burns. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a whole different
then
game.
we much more prefer pole kisses, right? All the
Yeah.
bruises.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a normal dance pole, and it's nice because no, there isn't like any designated dance pole teachers. But I'm having a teacher that is doing Chinese pole and
Mhm.
acrobatics and these things that kind of, yeah, goes together with the dance pole, and it's working really, really nicely.
And what would you say? So, right now you get to spend time on your apparatus, but you also get to spend time doing all those other things. What would you say right now, in your experience, are the other disciplines that are like, whetting your appetite, that you're like, ooh, this is really fun. I could see this. Like, is it the theatrical side, or the or the more acrobatic side, or both? Or, I mean, what are you getting drawn to right now? What's turning you on?
I think acrobatics and something called dance acrobatics, which is dance and acrobatics combined. This is a really nice subject also because you can really translate it to pole and work on acrobatics, like exits and endings of the pole or floor work between your combinations and all these things. So it's really nice to work on this. Um, and then of course, like we have a composition class, so we learn a lot about dramaturgical skills and how to build an act and how to portray a certain character, and we get a lot of improvisational tasks that are helping a lot. So the whole point of having all these group classes around, whether it's handstands or juggling or trampoline, they're all like, the point is to kind of, you can channel all those skills into being a versatile artist and being more free in your own discipline. So yeah.
Yeah, and what? It makes me think of, like, even in a circus performance, you know, you have your discipline, you do your act, you have your character, and then also there's probably a lot of other times during the performance that you're working as an ensemble, having to create stories with other characters and maybe dance routines, you know, with other characters, or integrating so that your act then becomes a seamless part of the whole experience. So I guess that just continues to make you more of a well-rounded performer when you go for your auditions, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with this a lot. Like some artists have super clear solo careers, but most people also go in and out of bigger group productions or shows, or like if you're freelancing, maybe it's nice once in a while to join a company. And for sure, it's important to know how to work as a group and do a production where you stand out to the amount you want, and you're working together to the amount that you want. You're able to work together with others because you have this base of skills.
Right. And I'm kind of curious. So you have all these different kind of classes and different things that you take with all these different, you know, disciplines that you kind of get to immerse yourself in while you're in school. Are there times when you meet with a coach for them to help you work like clearly on your act, like on an act just for you, where they're helping you create character? They're saying, hey, what about, you know, us fleshing out this character? What kind of costuming would you be thinking of? What kind of music? Like, is there someone to help you work one-on-one with that creation of your like an act, an actual piece?
Yeah, so this is happening a lot throughout the education. I'd say that this goes for all bachelor schools, because in the end, this is what we want, right? We want performers that can create their own shows or knows how to produce and all these things. So yeah, first of all, the classes are quite small, like the amount of people in each class. And this also means that when you have your own discipline classes, maybe you're one or two or maximum three students per teacher.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
and then
That's
we
amazing.
just, yeah, we just finished a solo production, and we're gonna have group production in the spring. And I think every year there is solo or group productions happening. So then you get guidance through that process and feedback and tips and tricks, from everything to lighting and costume character tricks. And yeah, so it's a very guided process. And I think this is also one of the pros with doing a bachelor education, because for sure you could, like, there's no one can like say that you need a bachelor to be a circus artist. You could go out there and apply for things and do your own thing. But it's a very good tool, and a lot of people go to the bachelor schools because you have all the help that you need, and it's a faster way to kind of develop those skills that you need as an artist, both technical and also artistic skills. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this just sounds like a dream come true. I wish I had found pole at 16 years old so I could be doing what you're doing. That sounds like so much fun. I work
Yeah, and
so
then
much. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think also that um, like the reason that pole dance got into a circus bachelor now, I think that's quite interesting, because I even if I would have applied 6, 10 years ago, I don't think it would have worked, right? It's not just on an individual level. Like, it also has to be on a societal level that we're ready for this now, right? Or
Right.
like
Like
that
this
the
is a really,
institutions are
yeah,
like,
they're
yeah. So
recognizing it
because
now.
also, yeah, I did a preparatory education in circus before I came here at AFUK in Copenhagen. Um, and also there, like, I did pole dance, but I also heard from someone who went there just 2, 3 years before me that wanted to do pole dance, that she wasn't allowed. So I think there is also something with, maybe it's time for us now, finally, can we be included? But not like grateful we can be included. But like, yes, it's about time, right?
Wow, what an exciting time for our community to like it is just at this time that we're starting to be recognized in the circus community in this way. I mean, sure, I think there was a lot of kind of um unofficial crossover before, but I think now that that's becoming official, like if any of you guys are watching and you're like, wow, can I have a career in circus or even go to circus school with pole being a main discipline? Like it's just now that this is happening, so this is your time.
Yeah,
That is super
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. And now you can also refer to that, like if you're applying to a place and someone would have a problem with it, you can refer to, but it is in already, right? So if one institution can do it, then probably others could too. And just as you say, there has been already for quite some years pole dance included in circus shows, but it hasn't been that many individuals, and I think having it included in an institution is just another step. So we could actually have, a proper bachelor degree in pole dance, which is pretty cool.
That is the coolest. I'm like just getting chills. That is really exciting. You're opening my eyes up to just a wonderful change that's happening in our community right now. So
Yeah.
tell me about your experience now that this is happening with pole. What was your whole audition experience like when you were applying for circus school for this bachelor program?
Yeah. So I think I had ideas about what people would think or what institutions would think. And that's also why I applied to many different schools. And I was happily surprised because, yeah, I think it's important to remember that there is prejudice and there is shaming and there is all these types of things out there.
Mhm.
But it doesn't go for every single situation and every single institution. So I would, yeah, really recommend to see for yourself and not like give up already before applying, because it can go anyway. So yeah, I applied to a bunch of schools, and also some schools I got a reply already. First you sent in some documents before you sent in actual videos of what you were doing, and already after sending that document I got a reply that, oh yeah, we're not offering dance pole, so you should either change discipline or just accept that this is not a school for you. And then I said, nope, I would like to apply like everyone else, and I would like you to watch my videos. Just treat me like any other applicant first, and then you can dismiss me if you want, but not just based on a document, right?
Yeah.
And then they said, all right, they had like a meeting with the committee of the auditions, and then they let me apply. So I was like, thank you for treating me like everyone else. And then actually, like, I got through in 5 out of 6 different school auditions. I did get through. So it was a positive, a positive reaction from most places. And I think a lot of circus schools, like, since it's not the two worlds of pole and circus hasn't been crossing too much yet, so there isn't that many that know within this circus what pole dance is, or maybe they've only seen a certain type of pole dance, or yeah. So I got a lot of it was some funny moments during the auditions of like maybe some teacher asking me like, but do you have to wear that little clothes? And I was like, yeah, well, we stick with our skin. But then they were like positively saying like, okay, but that will be a good challenge for our costume designer then. I was like, yeah, good. So all in all, I think it was a positive audition experience. And for sure, when you have a new discipline, it is always going to be harder just out of practical reasons. Like a school maybe it's a lot to ask maybe for a new teacher or for new equipment and all these things.
Right.
But and then there is also reasons like they have to see who applies and how can we fit a class together, what will the group dynamic be, and if a lot of people apply with the same discipline, it's going to be harder to get in. Like if there is 100 handstand artists but 3 jugglers applying to a school in a year, then of course it's much higher chance that those 3 jugglers would get in than for a handstand artist. So yeah, there's a lot of practical reasons or logistic reasons as to maybe why you wouldn't get in. But then pole dance also has this extra layer of like, what will they think? What's their vision or their picture of pole and a pole dancer? Are they accepting enough? All these things. So yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm so glad you shared that experience. What would you say to pole dancers who are interested in applying to circus? Like what kind of, you've talked about this a little bit about, hey, like keep knocking on those doors. Like, yeah, like, you know, try to really have them see you for what you're bringing to the table as far as your art. But what is there any additional advice you would give to a poler now trying to apply for a European circus school?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd say that you know, the school should be happy to have you there. So you shouldn't. I would recommend to not go in with the mindset that like, oh, like whoever wants me, please take me. But like, see your own value, right? And go strong and go hard and show all of your talents. It's really in the auditions, the way you can differentiate yourself. Those are the good things, right? And it's also maybe easier to differentiate yourself with pole dance because it's a new discipline. So this is a plus side of applying with something new. And then on top of this, look at like what you know, like maybe depending both on your age and on your knowledge, maybe you start with a preparatory education before applying to a bachelor. You can also always apply to a bachelor, but there is quite high like requirements on acrobatics, handstands, juggling. You should show a solo act and all these different tests that are being made. So if you've never done theater before, maybe you do a little theater course before the applications end, or like get all that knowledge in and then share it. And also, like if you have specific questions about auditions or about a certain school, you can always send me questions. And I'd say if you're based in Europe or if you want to apply to a school in Europe, then there is a website called FEDEC. I don't know, maybe I can comment in the chat.
Yeah.
FEDEC, which is the Federation of European Circus. And there you can see like all the schools, which are preparatory, which are bachelors, what do they offer. Like it's also really nice, like depending on how strongly, if you're a pole dancer, how strongly you want to hold on to this discipline, there's also some schools out there who are like offering flying pole as a discipline, and Chinese pole, and aerial hoop is also a discipline within circus, and a lot of pole dancers have started with aerial hoop, maybe silks. So I see no reason why a pole dancer shouldn't go into the circus world. It just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is next for you? Like you're going to be in this school for a few more years, right? Because it's a 4-year program, so you've got maybe 3 years left.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. So right now it's really hard when you're in a full-time studies that is so physical and with so long days to have like a goal beyond the school. Like it's 3.5 more years, right? So right now I'm just trying to get into it and not get too overwhelmed or not
Yeah.
get too overworked. But for sure, like I'd love to be a circus artist full time or be able to sustain myself on circus full time. And it's really nice to see both alumni, like previous bachelor students, coming back here and training or going out in weekends watching shows and festivals, because then you kind of get a sense of where to go.
Yeah. Gosh, you're in the most exciting, in my opinion, the most exciting part about being an artist, which is you're just full-fledged in the arena creating and learning right now. And like, oh my gosh, the best place in the world to be. That is the coolest. Oh my
Yeah,
God. I
yeah,
love that.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. That you can just be in that space right now, learning and learning what your body can do, learning what kind of creations you can make as an artist, honing your skill and all that kind of stuff. I love that. This is just the coolest. Um, Curious, when you're in a full-time school like that, and there's so many performers that are physical performers as well, obviously, as theatrical performers, what is the availability for education surrounding education and support surrounding staying healthy, injury prevention, all that kind of stuff, like, you know, body conditioning, like what's available when you're in a circus school like that?
Yeah,
Body
so I
work.
think, yeah, like all bachelor schools have like theoretical subjects as well. Like since we are, yeah, university programs, we do have theoretical tests as well. But then it differs a lot from school to school, how they are focusing around these subjects. So the school that I am in, Code Arts, has a very extensive team of people that we have, like physios here on multiple times a week that you go to for free to your physio or to the mental coach. We have nutritionists and we have vocal coaches. um what else do we have? Like a team, a student life team. And we do actually monthly questionnaires. All students do monthly questionnaires on our physical and mental health. And we do a test in the beginning of first year, like very extensive, with doctors and physiotherapists on like both inside and outside well-being, checking blood and lung function and the heart and all these things. So here in this school, which is really the only one I can personally talk about, there is a lot of focus on mental and physical health, which is lovely. It's
Yeah,
really
that's so
nice.
great. That's so great to have that support. Well, neat. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about kind of your experience right now? I feel like I learned so much today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could say that it really is, when you get into this bubble, we usually talk about a circus bubble, and it's kind of like the pole community. You know, you get in there and then there's just a new world of cool people and inspiration and training and all these things. And I just want to say that this circus bubble, it's possible to join it and to dive in also as a pole dancer or aerial hoop or whatever you do. Like if you start looking for it, you can find it. And I think the more people that wants to join or at least check it out, then maybe the more practitioners we'll have in general, or acceptance, or wherever it can go. I'm excited to see pole dance more and more in the circus circle. Yeah.
Yes, yes, to have a just yeah, you know, pole moving into that world and all the integration and all the amazing things that will now be created because those worlds are coming together in this way. That's really exciting. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Clara, where can we just, what's the best way to stay in touch with you and your adventures through school and everything? Is Instagram the best way to follow you?
I would say, yeah, I would say Instagram is the easiest. I mean, you could find me on Facebook as well, but it's not as interactive, or like, yeah, I'd say Instagram is the best. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything, people watching, you can just reach out. And I guess, yeah, people see my Instagram here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You
Clara
guys,
underscore Orlando underscore. Yeah.
okay, well, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It was super interesting, and it's nice to get to know you, and I will for
Yeah.
sure be following you as well. And thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you. It was really nice to talk to you. I mean, you were also one of the first people, like back when I started, right? And there was a few big names, you know. And it was like you and Anastasia and Pink Puma and all these people. So it's really nice to talk to you. I've been following you also for a long time.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, since you know some of my work, and you probably understand why this is such an exciting conversation for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
for
I'm
sure.
just like super nerdy into the theatricality and creating a character, and that's something that is a huge part of what I do now today, is doing that for a lot of students and clients, and helping them get to competition with a whole experience, rather than just just the tricks by themselves, but really the whole
Yeah,
experience with the tricks and the character and the it's great to talk to you about this too, because I went to theater school. um so I'm like seeing these parallels of
yeah,
what you're experiencing now. Of course, I didn't have the acrobatic side, and I wasn't even polling when I was back in theater school. So yeah, for me, way back in, like, I don't know, gosh, it's so long ago now, like 2012, 10, 2011,
yeah,
12, 13, when I was kind of out there, I feel like that was an exciting time, because I was bringing so much of that theatricality to pole, and having fun with pole as this new way to use my body and to integrate all of those things together. So, like, having this conversation, this is just the coolest, Claudia. I'm just,
yeah.
yeah,
But
I'm
I think
honored.
it's so nice that you're doing that, because it is oftentimes what I've seen, and when I've been instructing in different countries and different studios, is that it's often very trick based, right? Or it's maybe there's choreo and all this, but it's not so often that you work with how to build a character, how to build an act, and all these other tools that would be really great to know about if you're going to go compete. I think it's great if we can get some more focus in general in the pole community as to how much wider you can think, or how much nerdier you can dive into how to create a performance.
Yeah, I mean, and it sounds like you get that in circus school, where you're having, it's like, those tricks are there to support a story. Those tricks are there to support an experience for your audience, for an arc of a character. And when you use tricks in that way, you're getting so much more bang for your buck. Like, you're not just doing a bunch of aesthetically pretty things that no one can necessarily relate to. You're using those
Yeah,
skills that you have to further along someone's experience in the arc of this character in the story. So I'm super
yeah,
excited to watch what you're doing. I'll be peeking on your Instagram all the time.
yeah. That's nice. I'll publish my solo in a few days, I think.
Yes,
That's
please do that. Oh my God, that would be
Yeah. I'll
wonderful.
try to keep things posted. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, bring us along in your journey through this educational program, because
Mhm.
we can live through you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can give a last tip for people that like to watch silly things, or are also interested in maybe code arts, this circus school I'm talking about, that I'm in. We have a Christmas calendar on YouTube, and this has been going on since 2012. So we have a little episode every day from the 1st till 24th of December. So you can search for CCCC, which stands for Code Art Circus Christmas Calendar, and then you can get a little sneak peek of what's going on in the building.
There you go. So get your holiday inspiration, get to see a ton of circus performers, follow along that advent calendar that they have going up on YouTube. That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, Clara, have a beautiful week, and we will absolutely stay in touch with you and be following along with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching. Have a lovely evening or
All
day
right.
for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
day for me, evening for you. All right, Clara, take care.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye.